Life isn't like in the movies. As a result, even among the scientific community, the topic of alien existence and what to do if it exists remains a mystery. Some believe that we should make contact at any costs, while others believe that it would be a terrible idea. Welcome to Z. And today we're going to look at the true reason why aliens will most likely kill everyone. Do you require answers to the major questions? Are you insatiably curious? Then why not subscribe to Z for more videos like this, and ring the bell for more thought-provoking information. Much of the argument over the presence of alien life is now spread across a number of theories, some more ridiculous than others. The dark forest hypothesis, on the other hand, is one of the most intriguing. First and foremost, it is an idea that posits the existence of alien life. Nonetheless, it contends that contact with any other civilization by that alien race would be so terrifying and dangerous that it would be wiser to intentionally avoid it. ETs that are advanced enough to survive choose to keep silent on purpose, because doing so may bring the possibility of destruction, or so the belief goes. When it comes to stretching out into space, the most intelligent creatures are those who do it slowly and tentatively, as if they're attempting to silently shuffle through the leaves and branches of a forest. In some ways, it's a concept that can be applied historically to Earth's life, where we have mutually assured destruction. This theory broadly states that one nuclear powerhouse is necessarily kept at bay by another nuclear superpower due to the latter's nuclear capacity. If one ever went on the offensive, it would trigger a retaliatory strike that would eventually annihilate both parties. It's only a short step from these forms of thought to a broader examination of our place in the cosmos. What if an alien culture that Earth contacts turns out to be hostile? It's not unthinkable. Because most stars in our galaxy are far older than the Sun, chances are that a nearby alien colony has technology that is far more advanced than ours. And that technology has the potential to cement our fate. But maybe we shouldn't rush to our apocalyptic end times before we can walk to them. On a more fundamental level, scientists and policymakers must now evaluate the process and ethics of interplanetary communication. The SETI Institute was created in 1984 to conduct research into alien intelligence. SETI is constantly listening to and observing the stars, despite an almost constant line from within the U.S. government and the Pentagon stating that there is no evidence of alien life. METI International, Messaging to Extraterrestrial Intelligence, was also created in 2015 with the intention of more actively establishing contact by sending communications to speculated alien groupings. Both organizations provide vital support to people who believe that the official lines are erroneous and that there is life out there waiting to be discovered. Is this, though, just a fool's errand? Or is it so embedded in science fiction that it will never become science fact? The answer varies depending on who you question, but if we think about it long and hard, an infamous paradox emerges. The Fermi paradox, or, more simply, where is everyone? In short, there appears to be a contradiction between the lack of physical evidence that alien life exists and scientific knowledge about the law of averages that it must do. There has to be life out there because there are so many possible opportunities for life to thrive in space. But if that's the case, why hasn't contact been made yet? One possible explanation is that our technology isn't yet evolved enough, that we're simply not heard by individuals we're attempting to contact, or that we don't comprehend if they ever try to reach us. However, not all theories are as well intended. Not all end with the admonition that we just keep trying. Instead, there are indications that we should think about the dark forest scenario more carefully and be much more cautious. Stephen Hawking, renowned physicist and cosmologist, steps forward. Hawking was generally skeptical about alien contact, comparing a hypothetical encounter to that of Christopher Columbus and Native Americans. Hawking has stated on several occasions that we only need to look at ourselves to see how intelligent life might easily evolve into something we don't want to meet. History demonstrates how Columbus and other conquerors were eventually brutal, harsh, and disastrous to native groups. As a result, any arriving alien force is expected to behave and apply to Earth as a whole in much the same way. Hawking isn't the only scientist who has expressed similar concerns. A 2011 report co-authored by NASA's Sean Donegal Goldman, while at Pennsylvania State University, developed multiple potential scenarios for alien contact, including ones in which selfish aliens work solely for themselves and ones in which they cause unintentional and/or intentional harm to our societies. Furthermore, there have long been suggestions that advanced aliens may deliberately attack humanity in order to defend other alien groups from us, a scenario in which, once again, humans would be essentially helpless. All of this means that, while it may sound like a movie conundrum, the question of whether or not we should scream against the dark forest, whether or not we should ruffle the universe's leaves and branches, is totally valid in real life. Do we truly want to hear from whoever answers our phone call? Douglas Vakic, president and creator of METI International, understandably disagrees. He argues in a 2016 paper for Nature Physics titled In Defense of METI that if they wanted to invade, they would have done it by now. And perhaps there is some logic here as well. But does it mean METI and similar groups should be allowed to send as many messages as they want? In terms of the information contained in those messages? Should we instead establish a SETI police force that independently analyzes the information we give up? Some argue that we should have stronger rules. When it comes to the big unknown of space, more and more questions regarding accountability are being addressed. But what are your thoughts? Should we try to communicate with aliens? Should we be able to message them as much as we want, or should there be a limit? However, this horse has already bolted to some extent. For example, both NASA and the European Space Agency, two of the world's foremost space institutions, have recently targeted Polaris, the North Star. NASA sent a Beatles song toward it in 2008, while ESA sent over 3,000 text messages directly to it in 2016. There have also been other, comparable initiatives. Meanwhile, opposition has grown, like as earlier this year, when many scientists signed and released a warning against METI, encouraging debate at the very least about what is, and isn't, delivered. Questions like who's in charge, and who sets the rules, may look simple, but given that the answers to these messages have the ability to affect all known life on Earth, they are really basic considerations that we may need to make. In fact, there is some disagreement between SETI and METI over the strategies we should use, with SETI's John Gertz, among others, earlier suggesting, in a 2021 study, that METI is reckless and should face criminal charges. The title of that report was "The Time Has Come to Regulate Them Both" in reference to SETI and METI. For the time being, given the universal speed limit of light, we have at least a little time before our most likely rudimentary signals are picked up by another force. But if and when it happens, we could be in big trouble. At the very least, Earth and humanity may be viewed as the latest energy hotspot by a Kardashev Type 3 civilization someplace, intent on harnessing and conquering everything in its path. For those who are opposed, METI might serve as our own red flag to that particular bull. Of course, we don't know in the end. However, it is the dread of the unknown that is driving an increasing number of people to advocate for a more cautious approach. That quiet fear that we are not alone in the universe. And what if we aren't? What if they're not pleasant? We have no reason to believe that mankind is the most evolved civilization, just as we have no reason to believe that any encounter with aliens will be beneficial to both parties. Yes, there are certainly more favorable hypothetical scenarios in which a well-meaning ET group sends us peace and kindness, but should we take that risk? And, if we're going to take that risk, shouldn't we all have a say in what happens? Because there are numerous models and ideas that suggest that initial encounter could be fatal, that is why aliens will most likely destroy everyone. What are your thoughts? Is there anything we left out? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to stay up to date on our latest content.